The First Amendment lives here. And the 2A2. The Daily Mojo.
Have you seen Indiana Jones yet?
No, I'm going to skip that one.
Are you? Wow. It seems so.
Yes.
It seems like I finally figured out what, and I didn't realize this, that Phoebe Waller-Bridge had a hand in No Time to Die in doing something with that script. Did you know that?
Really?
I know. That freaked me out too. I was watching a YouTube video by Baggage Claim, and the title of the video was "Why is Phoebe Waller-Bridge in everything?" And it turns out it goes back to her little, I think it was HBO, the show Fleabag, which I never watched.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, I never
she
watched
wrote,
that either.
It's a chick thing, and there was kind of a synopsis of it on this video that I watched, and it's a chick series, which is fine, but also Phoebe Waller-Bridge sounds like a dude. Have you ever heard her talk?
If you gave her a ukulele and then you turned down the lights a little bit, you'd be like, "Oh, Tiny Tim, it's you."
No, Tiny Tim sounded more like she sounds like a dude. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can.
Only person
He sounded like a girl.
was her best friend who recently passed away.
I opened the cafe with my friend Boo. Yeah, she's dead now.
That's her. She sounds like a guy.
Oh. Was she a guy?
She sounds like... No, she's not. I don't know. Maybe she was.
Well,
but
I mean,
the thing is...
checked under the hood?
Nope, that's a good point. I have not. So it's possible that she is a dude. But that's why they've been... like all over her because of the success of Fleabag and the fact that she wrote it. And that's all of a sudden like, okay, let's put her in Indiana Jones.
People keep talking about, like, they bring up, the only people I see bring up Fleabag are people in the media. I don't know anybody who's actually watched Fleabag. And if that's, I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I mean, like, I didn't even know Fleabag existed until someone brought it up in relation to her spot on Indiana Jones. I didn't even know she had anything to do with No Time to Die. I didn't
either until I watched this video. So
my guess would be that Fleabag, this massive breakout success that is Fleabag, maybe it was watched. I don't know, but I'm going to guess it's one of those things that critics loved, that the mainstream critics loved because it was like avant-garde, edgy, and it probably tackled gay stuff. And that
it did have butt sex in it.
Relates to,
It had butt sex in it. Boy, I perked you up.
Oh, it did have butt sex?
Stuff.
Well, that's important.
It did.
Okay.
But it was heterosexual butt stuff, so.
That's not the right butt stuff. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's but apparently that's what this whole thing and why because I couldn't figure out why in the hell they would even want to. I mean, like, what makes you look at her and go, oh, she needs to be in the next Indiana Jones movie?
Yeah.
There's nothing about it.
It's because, right. It's because that if she is writing the right things, here's the thing about Disney and all the writers there. I mean, you look at She-Hulk writers and you were like, how the hell did they get that job? They aren't talented. They're accepted. Meaning that they don't have to actually display any kind of breakout talent or do anything that signifies that an audience would love what they create. They don't have to do that. What they have to do is express the right opinions. Okay. They have to be willing to hate the right people. They have to be willing to support this group and that group. And if they check all those boxes, then they can be handed a massive, important project. It doesn't, like, they can destroy it. It doesn't matter. That Disney will go to bat for them, not because of their talent or because of their success, which there is none. They will go to bat for them because they feel that if they don't, it's going to look really bad for these groups that they're trying to impress. You know, pissing off America, middle America especially, is the ultimate goal here for some of these people.
But it's the losing the money that I don't understand, how they can put this movie out that cost $300 plus another 150, $450 million, and it's lost money. It's dead in the road, and it's being run over by trucks, and it's going to lose them a lot of money in the long run. How can you, and especially on the heels of all of these Star Wars properties, and I guess Willow, that Kathleen Kennedy has just driven into the ground and stomped all over. How does that? Because at the end of the day, they've got to make money, otherwise they lose their power.
Right.
So how do they put out crap like this and still have their job?
The running theory that I have, because I ask the same question. It's like, how is this continuing? This is clearly a line of unbroken failure, right?
Right.
Kathleen Kennedy, everything she touches turns to crap. That's just the way it is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. My theory is that Kathleen Kennedy was put in charge because she has been on the scene for a very, very, very long time. I just rewatched Jurassic Park, and she's a producer on Jurassic Park. Her name flashed at the end of the screen, or at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has been a part of almost every major Steven Spielberg production that there is, some George Lucas productions. Like she was, for all intents and purposes, if you were to look at the list of names that would have been trusted right off the bat to handle Lucasfilm, it would have been Kathleen Kennedy. But going back and you listen to some of the things that they have said about Kathleen Kennedy, including Steven Spielberg, she was an incompetent person who would come up with the stupidest ideas, right? She was good at fetching coffee. She must have the photos,
Right. Yeah.
And I think that she actually has it out for Steven Spielberg, and she has it out for George Lucas. There's this one. I think there's clearly some enmity there, and there's this one clip of Steven Spielberg, and I think George Lucas was on stage with Kathleen Kennedy.
Yes.
And they were celebrating. You know what I'm talking about? And
I do.
Steven Spielberg was talking about like, and all these successes, and we got to thank George Lucas here for being here and putting all this together. And then there's one person who is the glue who brought everything together, and you just see Kathleen Kennedy's face just start to go like this, like she's about to get acknowledged.
Yep.
And Steven Spielberg goes, John Williams, and he doesn't even mention Kathleen Kennedy. Like you just
and
see her face go.
And her husband Frank Marshall, who's also been a producer on all that, he takes her by the arm and gently pulls her back across the other side of the stage. Yeah, you could see that she was expecting to be mentioned there,
right?
And so Spielberg just completely dissed her.
Oh yeah, I think that she has it out for both of those men, and I think that she is systematically destroying their greatest works in an act of revenge. And Disney is letting her do it.
And that's the weird thing. Why would they let her do it and lose all of that money?
Because they paid somebody or some people at the top of Disney also have it out for Spielberg. Like, and here's the other thing though. I mean, Disney, if I were to like take this out of the realm of speculation and put it into what I have concrete evidence of, Disney is another company that has to follow the rules that BlackRock set before them. Okay. Or Vanguard, one of those two, maybe both.
Okay.
All right. They are an ESG company, just like every other major corporation in America is. Okay. They have to follow these rules in order to stay on these important lists for, They have to stay on the important stock lists. All right. They have to continue to perform the way that they are told in order to get good lending deals. So Disney is churning out pure, unadulterated garbage, social justice driven leftist garbage, because if they stop for any reason, they will be punished. So, and with Disney losing as much money as they are right now, they need BlackRock more than ever. So my guess is that they are letting Kathleen Kennedy continue to push out this feminist-infused social justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion movie nonsense with Phoebe Waller-Bridge and all these other dumb characters that no one cares about or wants to care about, strictly to stay on the good side of corporations like BlackRock. That's what I can. So Disney's kind of been like their hands are cuffed behind their back right now. Even if they did want to churn out really good stuff and go back to the glory days of originality, they can't.
Right.
That would be my.
You know, that's a fascinating theory, and I was just looking up because BlackRock, obviously, if they want them, you know, if they're forcing Disney or requiring Disney or directing Disney to make all of these disasters so that it somehow affects culture, whatever, they got to be making money up somewhere. They got to be. And do you know that BlackRock and J.P. Morgan Chase are helping the Ukrainian government set up their reconstruction bank?
Oh,
so
really?
They're going to be steering public seed capital into rebuilding projects that can attract hundreds of billions of dollars in private investment. Okay, so they've got a cash cow on one hand, and then they've got, so they can afford. Are you putting on your tinfoil hat? I mean, it kind of does make sense if you think about it. I mean,
hear me out.
I mean, all right.
What if BlackRock, which owns America more or less through corporations, right?
Okay.
They have to obey every single little thing. BlackRock is very closely tied to the White House. In fact, BlackRock executives are some of the most frequent visitors to the White House. There are people working in the Biden administration who were once BlackRock higher-ups. Okay.
Right.
What if the whole war in Ukraine was a way for BlackRock to effectively own a country? Own it. Because if they can build the country from the ground up by utilizing a bank that they own, right? Everything has to go through that bank, the reconstruction effort, They own that bank. Right. They own every building that is being built in some way, shape, or form. They definitely will end up owning the leaders, because the leaders have to go to the bank to get the money for construction projects or, you know, whatever kind of project they want. Everything will have to go through BlackRock. They will own Ukraine. What does Ukraine have? A lot of oil and gas.
Right.
Or at least the ability to refine it. Everything has to go through Ukraine. All the oil and stuff has to go through Ukraine for being refined, especially everything that, like in the U.S. Bro.
The World Bank, and this is according to Financial Times, the World Bank estimated back in March that Ukraine will need $411 billion to rebuild after the war. And they say that the Russian attacks have driven that figure even higher.
Do not comply. Words to live by from the Daily Mojo.